When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight.
Howdy y'all, I'm Madeline.
And I'm Caleb.
And this is our van Yumi.
And together we're Patchwork Canteen.
Come on for a ride. Yumi is a 1993 Toyota Hiace Super Custom. She was imported from Japan, and because of that she has a lot of really interesting features about her. Everything has now been pretty much switched out from stock to new stuff. But the things that remain stock is mostly in the front, and that would be the center console, which features a cool and heat box that also has an ice maker in it. It came with tiny little ice trays so that you can fill it up, put them in here, freeze it, and as you're driving along you have a nice ice drink. The van also came with its own tea kettle, so you can fill it up with tea or coffee, press it on, and it actually keeps it warm and even warms it up if it wasn't already. I would say that when people ask us how it is living in the van, we always tell them we live out of the van. So this is the side that we're listening to music and we're jamming and we're on to the next adventure. Check out the interior. Initially when we started with the van, we actually had everything painted completely different. And if you saw our van tour on Tiny Home Tours, you would have seen. What we did was, once we were in quarantine, we decided that there's a lot of things that we wanted to change with the van. And as we started getting it out, we kind of had this realization that we wanted it to fit more of the vibe that we represented versus its own thing. So now I feel like it's very cohesive with us and the colors and the moods that we like. We chose to have a deeper sink. This was one of our first priorities, and being able to have drinking water out of the sink, we put this filter on here. We change it like every 2 months or so, but we can fill up our water bottle from right here, and that is awesome for when we're on the road and we're driving. We can just reach back here and do that. So we have a automatic water pump that brings it from the back water tank over here through and around, and so we have automatic. This opens up like this, and this opens up like this. Under here we have our water pan. This is actually a recycled oil pan, so we custom fit this piece so that the water could drain either directly in here or we can have a to ground if we need that. We also have a water hose that we bring from right here, and we can hook it up and have some high pressure water. We also keep our utensils in a tub in here, and that's easy access right here for when we're cooking or when we're washing things. I can put it all up, and it's also an organizational thing. Organization is a huge part of living in the van. We have 3 sunroofs. The first one up there, the second one is right here, and this one actually opens all the way up. So we can open it up and I can stick my head out and we're going really fast. Just kidding, Mom, I don't do that. In here we have our patch collection. This is one of our pride and joys. We get patches from a lot of places we go. If their visitor center is open, comment below if 99% of the time the visitor center isn't open. In the center right here, we call this the step, or I call it the step. Caleb says it's not a step, but it's a step. We kind of use this when we're crawling through, and usually just keep a rag right here for quick access. Same thing right here. And under here we keep various things, but mostly it's just either hygiene related, it's a cleaning supply. So we obviously have our baby wipes. They really need a better name for that. And then just some different cleaning stuff also in another chest down here. This chest over here, it features a beautiful map from Big Bend National Park. We actually took this hiking with us when we went to the highest point in Big Bend. So if you look, you can see the highlighted area. And we actually took that trail and took this map with us on that trail. When you open this up, we have our sticker collection. Comment below if you see your sticker over here. In this chest, we keep the refrigerator. This is just your typical 12-volt fridge. It holds about a week's worth of groceries for us. 7-8 days we can fit in here as long as we cook the first meal the first day. Caleb recently rigged this up, and it's just a piece of paracord, and it goes to a little hook over here, and I'm able to just hook it on, and now it stays there. Like I said, around here we keep different things and we have storage. We'll put our tripod, we'll put some of our cleaning stuff, laundry stuff, and then like cereal boxes or any food that's in a box we'll keep down here. Over here we keep some different things. I usually have fruit. My favorite is mandarins, so I keep a lot of those in here. I keep the strainer on deck, easy to access, because we eat a lot of carbs. We eat a lot of nudes. And then my coffee cup, I always just keep it right here. I say coffee cup, but it's my everything cup. I just drink anything out of it. This is another hook. We usually hang our headlamps, and then when we go to sleep at night, we typically just put our keys right here because it's a good spot so we don't lose them, because that would be crazy. I told y'all that we recently added a whole lot to the van, changed up the vibe completely. We just recently took out our drop ceiling and we completely cleared it out, took out some brackets, painted it, and we decided that it was the best option. We had this idea to add nets for overhead storage. So Caleb actually handmade this net. I'm so proud of him. And we have just some different tapestries and some towels, a hat. I keep my Polaroid up here. So it's just some things that really don't have a great place in the van, and that this is just a good spot for them to keep organized. We added the lights. We used to have just touch lights, but we strung these and we ran them around the back, so there's some recessed lighting, and then also just the exposed twinkle lights out here. And then we add this touch light. One of my favorite new adds, and this is definitely my summer rig worthy, is a little fan. This is nice. Adding a fan felt very necessary because we don't have any kind of AC in the van. If it's running, we can turn the back AC on and we can get some back here, but that's only if it's running. So we don't want to leave it running for super long time, definitely not overnight unless it's just ridiculously hot. The first night we slept with it on, it was pretty hot, turned it on. By the end of the night, once it cooled down, we actually were kind of chilly, so I think it works pretty good. We have our fishing rods. They are rigged inside of the van, so one of them comes over here and hooks on, another one over here has its own strap, and then they have their covers on them. So we hang them here. This is pretty easy for us to access, and it also is pretty quick when we need them. For the third and final sunroof, we have two little lookouts on either side of the bed. These slide open and we can have a pretty good view of the stars at night when we're laying in bed. We added these curtains in here. I felt like it was a good addition because before it was just exposed to all of the tubs and different things that we use to organize. And so now with the curtains, I feel like it looks a little bit more decorated, and also it helps kind of hide our junk. We have USB ports here and 3-prong outlets right here. This was a good spot because typically if we do need to plug anything in, it's easiest to just run it out this way, and also we can plug in our phones at night and have them close by. Living in a tiny space is not that bad. It's pretty fun. If you can work together and you can figure it out and stay organized, it'll be a blast.
I would say that my #1 question for anyone else that's built a van before is exactly how many screws did you use in your van build? Because I just feel like I was taking handfuls of screws every single day and just drilling them in all sorts of places. So I'm just curious, what's the amount or near about the amount of screws that you use to build your van? One of my favorite things about this van is the 4-wheel drive capability. Usually whenever we go off-grid, we like to go pretty deep, so we'll get on a forest road or something, so we really need the right gear. So I wanted to show you the tires that we have first, and we can take a look at those. A tire that I always recommend is the BF Goodrich KO2s. It was really hard when we first got the van because I wanted to change the wheels out on it, but I couldn't find any wheels in the US, so I just kind of gave up and cleaned these up as much as I could. And this is what we have now. And Madeline went in here, and we used to have a teal stripe, but she came in and made them all match the van a little bit better. One thing that we added to the van that's been really cool for us is our Instagram handle. A lot of times when we're driving down the interstate or maybe in another state somewhere else, people will send us a message, and sometimes there'll be a picture of our van, or maybe it'll be us picking our nose driving down the interstate. But that's just a really cool thing to be interactive. The door always sticks a little bit right here, and I haven't found a great way to fix that up yet. Always grease the wheels, use some WD-40, but right here, it just always gets a little bit stuck, which makes it harder to get out of the van. There's so many zip ties and glue and duct tape all over this thing. If you looked at it, you could probably find it, but don't look too hard. One of the big things about this van is that it's a diesel engine. The engine actually sits right up here where we normally sit when we're driving down the road. Some people confuse this Hiace with Volkswagen, and Volkswagen keep their engine in the back. But for us, we have it up here. And all you have to do is we have a couple of latches that you unhook, and when you let those down, you can lift the seat up like that to access the engine. It's a little hard right now. I'll have to get right here. We have a lot of stuff in the back, so when we really have to access the engine, we kind of have to rip out the sink and where our fridge is, so it's really a pain in the butt. But just for oil changes, I can usually do this, and I'll prop it up with the broom or something, and our engine is under there. It's a Toyota engine, so a lot of people are like, oh, you never have problems, or things like that, but I'm gonna tell you, no. We definitely have had problems before, especially when we first started out, but we worked through a lot of the kinks with our engine. We had to replace our old one with what you see now that's the new one. It was starting to overheat a lot, and we had a lot of issues, but we worked them out, and we've been on the road ever since. And I'm gonna, again, keep my fingers crossed that we don't have any issues later on. This is a rechargeable AGM battery, 200 amp hour. When Madeline and I were still living in the apartment, this was delivered to the 3rd floor, and I feel so bad for the delivery guy because I don't know how he did it by himself, because I had to call at least 2 other friends to help me drag this thing downstairs when we started building the van out. So props to delivery guys, they know what's up. What we do with this is all of our solar panels on top send the solar power to here, and that keeps everything else in the van charged. So it's a pretty simple layout. We keep our battery charger on deck just in case of an emergency. If something happens to the solar, gets cracked, or we don't have any light for a long time, we can plug in somewhere and charge our battery. Right here, I keep most of our garage. It's not the whole thing, but I keep my drill back here. All of the essentials that I use for everyday van life, because you're always going to be working on stuff. Things are always going to be breaking, so you need to have the right tools close to you all the time. You gotta have a place for your plates. So we have this little Velcro net. I think we got this one on Amazon for like 12 bucks, but they've come in really handy. This was an upgrade since we did our next build. But I'm happy with them. We have one in the back that we can stuff random things in as well, but they're super functional and I like them. The cooking setup that we have is just a propane grill that I keep underneath the bed here. There's a certain way to get everything out, so usually when I have the grill out, we're going to be sitting anyway, so it's not a big deal to be taking these extra things out. I keep this table here. I got it at REI a few years ago, and it's held up pretty good. I think one time when I timed how long it takes to set this whole thing up was about 3 minutes from start to finish, but it's not too bad. I really like grilling out every night. Some people have in-camper setups and it's a little more stealth, but if you can get outside or get to a place that it doesn't really matter, then that's the preferred option. They use these on a lot of giant gas grills to power them, and they usually go a while on that, so you can imagine with this small of a grill that we don't have too many issues. So set it up, it's pretty gross. I'm not going to show you all the gross grill. Cook on it a lot, and I don't clean it a lot. Now that we have the kayak on top, we had to have a place to put our paddles. I ended up buying some bungee cord, which is essential to living in a van. One of the essential items I keep behind the front seat. But I zigzagged it all the way across the underside of the bed, and then I was able to slide the paddles into that. So they just kind of hang here, and I can pull them out easily because they're the paddles that you can take apart. You press the button, you take them apart. So it's not really hard at all. The only thing that stinks about our water setup, our in-house water setup, is the fact that I have to have a water hose in order to fill the tank. A lot of places they have faucets and parks and things like that, but unless there's a spigot where I can connect the water hose, then I can't fill up. So I would say that if you can, I would incorporate jerry cans into your build versus something like I did that's more permanent. I keep some of our pots and pans back here, as well as our roller skates. Every time I go to fill up our water tank, I just have to pull all this stuff out and run the hose through and fill her up. When we bought the van, we wanted to give it a unique vintage look, and we found this color on an album that we were listening to, and we really liked it, so we took it to the auto shop and we were like, hey, can we get our van painted like this? And they said yes, but they meant no, because they painted it the wrong color the first time. Completely the wrong color. But whenever we went and they had corrected it, we ended up with this, and we were super happy with it. It gives us just the vibe that we wanted. People ask us all the time, what exactly is that color? I've never even seen that color before. But we like to just say it's a peachy color, and it always keeps everybody happy and smiling, so we're good with it. I built this guy a Home Depot parking lot, and it holds about 5 gallons of water, I'd say, and it's supposed to be able to heat it up. It's black, so it's supposed to be able to heat up a lot easier, so you can have warm water, basically a solar shower, but you can use it for anything. We'll mostly use it just for rinsing off. The Planet Fitness showers are probably going to be closed for a little bit longer. We heard recently that some of them were opening up across the country, but that the showers are still limited, so we'll really depend on this throughout the summer to stay clean, and hopefully we can find some places to fill it up along the way. What we have on top right now is the surfboard, I have the water tank, I have our New Power solar panels, and our kayak on the other side. So it has quite a lot of stuff. It's almost just as tall on top as the van is on the bottom. The solar panel setup that we decided to go with is the New Power 200 watt solar panels, and these guys are, I guess together, probably about, I don't know, 7 foot long, and they cover up most of the length of our van. But we've been able to get our battery up to like 13.4. Before we had solar, we were connected to our in-house battery that usually charges the van and all of its components. So this has taken a huge load off of our alternator. So we're super thankful to New Power for giving us a solar panel that keeps us charged up. When we first got the kayak, I had to climb up here with ratchet straps, and I would nearly fall off the van every single time. So I figured instead of breaking my neck, I might as well just spend the money and get something that's a little bit more efficient. All I have to do with this thing is pull right here, and then I pull down and it'll start to lift. And usually I'll have Madeline on the other side and it'll just let me drop it down.
If there's one thing that we can leave y'all with, it's to follow your dreams and never stop working hard to make them a reality.
If you want to keep up with our Indigo Summer travels, be sure to follow us on all social medias and check us out. Peace, guys.
I'll surround you with flowers, babe. I want your love.